The new Premier League season is off to a high-flying start, and all the action is there for all the entertainment that we had hoped for. Anyways, it all kicked off on Friday night as Manchester United got the better of Fulham before proceeding on to Saturday, where Liverpool were winners, just like Arsenal. Teams like Brighton, Newcastle, as well as Aston Villa, getting off to a winning start for this campaign. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Robert K Circles is my name, your usual suspect. I hope you're enjoying it. Action does still continue on Super Sunday. We do know that there is that big game on Super Sunday between Chelsea and Manchester City that you should be looking out for. The preview is already on the channel. We did share that, I think, on Friday night. So do check out that in case you want to know my insights on that particular game. But let's return to the action that we have seen so far. Like I said, on Friday night, it was Manchester United beating Fulham by 1-0. And I mean, it was that kind of game that you usually get at the start of the season. A bit of nervousness from either side, a lack of sharpness from players, and both sides I thought could have scored more in the game. Fulham eventually didn't get any goal, but Andre Onana is in part to thank for that. Just like on the other side, I thought Bruno Fernandes lacked that sharpness, but like I said, it was to be expected. It's the first game of the season, at least officially, as far as Premier League football goes. So you had, but that takes nothing away from goalkeeper Bernard Leno, who I thought arguably deserved the man of the match award in spite of that loss for Fulham. He was really incredible. Made some serious saves in that particular game, one coming against Bruno Fernandes. So it was the new signing for Manchester United in Joshua 𝐔𝐲, who came off the bench to score that 86th minute strike that won all 3 points for Erik ten Hag to see them start the season being at the top of the table. However, that didn't last long as Liverpool knocked them off the top of that pile with their 2-0 victory in the early kickoff on Saturday when they beat newcomers Ipswich Town. Goals from Diogo Jota and Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah becoming the highest scoring player as far as opening matches are concerned. He's been involved in 14 goals, I think, in what, about 9 seasons or 10 seasons. So very industrious man there. It was that kind of game again. Liverpool did struggle in the first half. I thought Ipswich were having their moments in that game. I did appreciate the efforts of Omari Hudson. I thought Axel Tuanzebe, the former Manchester United defender, was good. I did see Ban in there, who I thought was a good player, and they had the small moments. But then, of course, against Liverpool, you need to take your chances when they come, and I thought, especially in the first half, they didn't take their few chances. And then, of course, they were punished in the second half by those goals from Diogo Jota, Mohamed Salah creating one and scoring the other. So very brilliant performance for them in the second half. Of course, we did see Arne Slot introduce Ibrahim Konate early on in the second half because he thought he deserved to make that change in his backline to avoid any potential troubles. Then after that, after the early kickoff, we did watch Arsenal beat up against Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2-0. They managed to keep a clean sheet, but they will have David Raya to thank because of that brilliant save he made in the first half against Lassene's header. So, and in fact, as Gary O'Neill was speaking in the post-match conference, that's the Wolverhampton Wanderers manager, he did say that everybody at the on the touchline thought that was in, but then big players, big goalkeepers do come up with magical moments such as that to make that kind of save. I was looking through my memory to try and remember when I saw a save as that brilliant, perhaps from another Arsenal goalkeeper, and it took me back to that free kick from James Maddison that Aaron Ramsdale saved when Arsenal was beating Leicester City by 2-0. I think that was in the 2021-2022 Premier League season, for those of you that do remember that. So it was a very, very brilliant save. If you didn't get the chance to watch it, I thought you should look out for that. But like some Arsenal players had predicted, it was their striker or forward or midfielder, whatever you want to call him, in Kai Havertz, who got their first goal of the season thanks to a floated in ball by Bukayo Saka. He leaped high in the air and headed that ball in the back of the net to give Arsenal the lead. And then, of course, in the second half, Bukayo Saka, that he darts to his left and then strikes that ball past Jose in Wolves' goal. I did think that overall Arsenal did dominate that midfield in the manner that one would have hoped for. I did think Thomas Partey lacked sharpness. He did, I think, lose the ball on a couple of occasions, about twice or thrice for the moments that I remember critically. Zinchenko also, had a bit of clumsy play there. And then Declan Rice, not at the top of his game. I thought Gabriel Martinelli's, attacking threat in terms of speed and dribbling were a bit sort of contained, because I do not want to take anything away from Wolves. They knew the kind of team they were playing against, so they tried to be, a bit conservative in the way they played at times. But either way, Arsenal managed to win. A win is a win. They're off to a winning start, and it won't matter much perhaps how they played, but that they got all the 3 points. For Gary O'Neill's side, a lot of positives to take out of that game, but more work to be done for them in terms of what they need to do going forward in the season. So, brilliant performance there from Bukayo Saka, who provided an assist and scored a goal. And then we went away to Goodison Park, where Brighton beat home side Everton by 3-0. Kaoru Mitoma, once again, at the end of another good performance, opening the scoring there for Brighton and Hove Albion, while the other on target was Simon Adingra. I think that was late on in the 86th minute. But before Simon Adingra's strike, Danny Welbeck had doubled that lead for Brighton and Hove Albion. Danny Welbeck edging like fine wine, so to speak. But it is a game that Everton finished with a manless after Ashley Young was given a red card. So again, first season of the game, you're at home. You concede 3 goals. Would have expected slightly more perhaps from Sean Dyche's Everton, but then that takes nothing away from Brighton's brilliant performance on the day. Moving away from there, we then headed to St. James's Park, where Newcastle beat up against newly promoted side Southampton by 1-0. Again, this was a nail-biting fixture because very early on, Newcastle were reduced to 10 men when Fabian Schär was given a red card, but Joelinton found the back of the net and somehow they managed to keep to hold on to that lead that eventually won Eddie Howe all the 3 points for his side. So those were some of the key moments from that particular game. And then, of course, action continued when Nottingham Forest were held to a 1-1 draw at home by AFC Bournemouth. Bournemouth finding the equalizer quite late on through Antoine Semenyo. That was around, I think, the 86th minute. Nottingham Forest thought they were destined to carry all 3 points, and they will be disappointed in themselves after Chris Wood had scored to put them in the lead. So 1-1 it finished, and then the late kickoff was between West Ham and Aston Villa. Aston Villa winning that one by 2-1. Surprisingly, it was John Duran, the West Ham summer target from Aston Villa, that sort of broke the hammers there when he scored that goal in the second half, around the 79th minute, was it? Around there. So, but anyways, very early into the game, summer signing in Onana for Aston Villa from Everton, opened the scoreline, with that brilliant goal. And then, of course, Lucas Paqueta converted a penalty that's from the spot to restore parity. And then, of course, the Aston Villa were quite dominant in most parts of the game, but that spoke particularly to the more work that Julian Lopetegui needs to do. West Ham had their moments, of course, but eventually they could not collect a point from this particular fixture as they lost by 2-1 on the night. So that was it from the Saturday action. Like I did say, action does continue today when Brentford host Crystal Palace at 4 p.m. while at 6:30 p.m. Chelsea will be at home against Manchester City. Like I did say, the preview is already up on the channel for that particular fixture. I will not bother you taking you through what the table really looks like. I mean, teams have only played one game, but in case you do want to know, I do understand that Brighton lead the pile, having scored 3 goals past Everton. So that puts them on top of the table. Then the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, of course, Arsenal for its alphabetical order does come in there. The likes of Manchester United, Newcastle, all those teams that did win, as well as the likes of Aston Villa, do form that top pile. So we are waiting to see today's action, but in case you are interested in knowing, Barcelona were also off to a winning start in the Spanish La Liga when they beat up against Valencia by 2-1 last night. I think it was Robert Lewandowski at the end of those 2 goals, one of them being a penalty, but it was Valencia that had found the opening goal of the game through Hugo Duro. So look out for all the Spanish La Liga, the Italian Serie A. All action is back in full swing. We'll keep previewing and reviewing some of the action, but majorly from the Premier League, and perhaps any key updates that may follow through from other leagues. Do not forget the transfer window is still open, so the exchange of players does still continue. I do understand that Mikel Merino was left out of the Real Sociedad weekend squad because of his supposedly pending move to Arsenal, so keep an eye on that. I do understand that Manchester United and Manuel Agati do have a deal in principle on personal terms, but the 2 clubs in Manchester United and PSG are yet to agree on the final fees, so that deal is also still pending. I do understand Ajax are interested in signing Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. So I do understand, it's common knowledge that Chelsea do have a lot of players to offload, and Wesley Ugochukwu has gone to Southampton on loan. So a lot of deals still happening. The transfer window is still wide open for clubs to sign more players. But I think João Neves in France did have an incredible start to the season, I think providing 2 assists in their first game for PSG. So while one of their strikers did suffer, I think, a broken ankle, something, a very terrible injury that could keep him out of action for 3 to 4 months. So PSG may be back in the market for a striker. Remember, they did want to sign Victor Osimhen, but well off put by the asking price of 120 million euros, which no club wants to pay. But negotiations between Chelsea over a deal for Lukaku joining Napoli are still on, with Osimhen anticipated to move in the opposite direction should they come to an agreement on the final fees and the player's salary, which he says he doesn't want to take any penny less in any potential deal. So a lot of movement will be still happening in the next few days, and I'll do my best to keep you abreast of some of the top stories out of that transfer mix and all that. Otherwise, keep it locked on the channel. That's at Football Tribe UG. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to grow. Baby steps, but we will get there. Do not worry. Stay blessed and have a wonderful rest of the weekend.